I'm a nearly adult female. My parents split up before I was born. Custody is, I live with my dad most of the time, and my mom every other weekend, plus random staying with her if I want. Recently, my dad got engaged to Hannah, and she and her kids are moving in. Hannah's kids are tween, pre-tween, and 3 toddlers. She's widowed, so they live with her full time. This made room arrangements a bit awkward, since there were only 3 kids' bedrooms to go around. Dad and Hannah talked it over last night, without consulting anybody, and Hannah came over this morning to announce to my dad what they had decided. Apparently, they want her 2 oldest to each have their own rooms, and me to share with the triplets because my room is significantly bigger than the others, and I don't stay there full time. I said their plan was stupid. They wanted me to share with 3 toddlers. They said they didn't want me to move, but it was the biggest room, so other people should share. I said I didn't care if I switched rooms, because the more logical move would have been the triplets in the big room, and because she just wanted her family to blend nicely, and I was apparently ruining her plans. This made Dad mad at me, and I'm not allowed to talk to Hannah until she forgives me. I didn't know this meant so much to them, but I'm still saying that I'll stay with Mom longer if I have to share the room with toddlers. But my dad made me feel a bit guilty. So, am I the idiot? The witch is not crying because she wants a blended family. She's crying because she wants a nanny. Not the idiot. They know what they're doing to you. They only act like they don't. You sharing with the triplets makes you care for them at night and as soon as their bedtime begins. It is not practical at all. Where should you hang out between them and your bedtime? Living room with them? I would assume your dad simply doesn't actually care if you're there, but they want you to be the bad guy. Yeah, I don't think any adult man is naive enough to think a teen with 3 toddlers is practical for the teen at all. 4 kids in one room can only be cramped. OP wouldn't be able to have friends over, ever, etc., etc. It wouldn't be much different as OP having no room and sleeping on the living room couch. Don't be silly. OP's father doesn't know or care. He's oblivious to any of it. He just wants what his new bed warmer wants, because only when she's happy will he have intimacy. Other than that, you're right. It's obviously the best way for Hannah to have a live-in nanny for free. It's not about her family blending at all. It's always maddening to hear when kids get replaced by the new partner's kids. Dang, like, at least the evil stepmother waited until Cinderella's father died, not just instantly making her a free maid. Move to your mom's OP and let Dad pay child support to her. He's being awful to you, and I wish you well. Unfortunately, your life will look a lot different for the foreseeable future with respect to how it used to be with your dad. I, 28 female, bought my first house. It's in an okay neighborhood. Lots of people with young kids and all that American dream stuff. I'm also an alcoholic. I've struggled with it since college. There are bad times and better times. I see a counselor. Living alone, I don't feel the need to hide away the truth of my alcoholism anymore. I can just come home with a bottle of wine and nobody's there to judge me. It's actually meant that I drink less overall. The shame fuels the drinking. We had a windstorm, and my recycling bin went on a little trip down the street. I grabbed it when I got home and laughed about it with my neighbor. There were the results of a bender, and she asked if I had a party. I said no, this was just me. She said, "They pick up the recycling weekly. You don't have to keep it for so long." I said, "I know. This was just from the past week." She looked at the bin again and said, "Oh, wow. Okay." She asked whether I needed to talk to someone, etc. One of the neighbors misread the vibe and joined the conversation, which I'm not mad about. This is that kind of neighborhood. I didn't want it to become a whole thing, so I said, "I'm an alcoholic. You might see a lot of bottles occasionally." Both women were really surprised, and the first one backed off and said that it was really disturbing that I would just come out and say it like that, like it was something that I was proud of. I said that living in the shadows in a life of shame hurts, that it makes things worse, and that I choose to be honest about my addiction because I'm not ashamed of who I am. She said that my issue isn't something to make light of or to glorify. I told her I would never glorify it. She said that going around laughing about it flies in the face of everyone who's ever survived a life with alcoholic parents. I told her that I was sorry if that was her experience. Genuinely. She said if her kids wake up to see me passed out on the lawn, expect problems. Parading around here proud of my problem is trashy, and they don't need that here. Later on, the second neighbor came to see me and said that I had really upset the other woman, that I've put a target on my back, and that my attitude toward my illness will definitely rub a lot of people the wrong way. I said that I understood, but explained the thing about shame to her. She said that I would never have to worry about her judging me, but to watch out for that woman's crew. Not the idiot, but I strongly suggest that you tell people that you're an alcoholic who sees a counselor for treatment, rather than saying that you're an alcoholic who doesn't want to hide it. The former shows that you want to change, while the latter can be interpreted as that you're fine with not changing. Definitely let your neighbors know about your counselor the next time anything is mentioned regarding drinking. I wish you well. Yeah, OP should have told the neighbor that they were seeing a counselor when she asked if they needed to talk to anyone. That whole interaction probably would have gone very differently. I can see why it would be shocking. I've never heard someone say that they have issues unless they were already sober or on their path towards sobriety. The way you said it, it seems like you've just accepted it and you're going to keep drinking. How is that any of the neighbor's business? The neighbor asked multiple prying questions about OP's drinking when they were just trying to take their recycling out. The neighbor was literally looking through OP's trash and then demanded an explanation for the trash. It's none of the neighbor's business how OP relates to their illness. Why would you not just say, "Okay, thanks," when your neighbor mentioned bringing the recycling out every week? That would have ended the conversation there. It seems like you wanted to have this conversation, whatever reaction it brought about. That's fine, and you're not the idiot for being honest about your problems, but it 100% felt purposeful to start a conversation that ended unsurprisingly by responding the way you did. And when someone presents themselves as unapologetically an addict without the addition that they're in treatment, the implication, even if this isn't true, is that you aren't working towards recovery, which is scary or concerning for neighbors who live next to you. My little sister, 21, is constantly losing things, but her keys are the main culprit. She loses them around the house, but at least 50 times since she's been driving, she's lost them in public, and a few of the times have been very scary because she got herself stranded. In early June, she lost her keys and had to pay a ton of money to reprogram her remote lock. Last Friday, she lost them again in a grocery, but was lucky enough that the cashier found her and returned them as she was frantic in the store. So I made a little tag that had her name, phone number, and address so she wouldn't have to replace them again. Earlier this week, she went to Six Flags Great Adventure with some friends and truly lost her keys. When she got home, her car was gone. Yesterday, the police found her car completely chopped with the key in the ignition, but her house keys and work keys were gone. I hope it's obvious what the police think happened. She's furious with me, and my parents are also mad, saying I should have minded my own business. She knew the little tag was there, and she even thought it was a good idea. I don't know if I'm the idiot, because she's the one who lost her keys again, but it was my idea that backfired. Am I the idiot? Edit. My dad already did her apartment, but her work wants to charge her to rekey because the police said that they probably know where she works from the work uniform that was in her car. OMG, that's stupid. Why on earth would you put a name and address on a set of keys? Especially a set of keys that has been lost hundreds of times. That's just asking to get robbed. Tell your sister to get a lanyard and attach the keys to herself. I know it's harder with women's clothes, but if she wears pants with belt loops, those are perfect. Does she have a condition that contributes to her losing her keys? She's lost the keys 50 times? That's not normal. And if I personally lost my keys more than 5 times, I'd be hitting up a doctor and getting some answers. But, darling, what were you thinking? You can put a name, telephone number, and email there, but the address? Holy cow. Listen, you had a really stupid idea. Incredibly so. The fact that your sister didn't recognize it as a terrible idea doesn't say much about her judgment either. Why didn't you add her social security and date of birth for good measure? Consider adding her debit card number and security code while you're at it. You are the idiot for being so dumb as to put a freaking address on a car key. If your little sister's 21, you should be at least the same age, if not older. That's more than old enough to know not to include a written invitation for a break-in or for a stolen car. OP, what you did wasn't helping your sister in any way to lose her keys less. It only put her in danger in case she did. I, 19 female, have been dating my boyfriend, 25, for 5 months now, and he's amazing. However, one disagreement we often have is over housework. My boyfriend thinks that I should do housework, seeing as he works 48 hours a week, and I only work occasionally. I've always refused. We don't live together. We live in separate houses and pay separate rent. I afford rent through my university student loan and tutoring and babysitting part-time. So in my opinion, I have no reason to clean his house when I have my own that I pay for. My boyfriend thinks it's unfair that I don't work, yet have enough money to rent. In his eyes, I should do household chores for him because he's the breadwinner. The thing is, I don't see him as the breadwinner. He doesn't pay for my rent. I do. We aren't married, and I'm still in education. I can't tell if I'm being unreasonable. I cook for him and occasionally help with chores, but I refuse to be a full-time maid for him. Then again, he works so hard, whereas I only work a few hours a week. So, am I the idiot for refusing to do housework while my boyfriend goes to work, even though I don't have a job? Not the idiot, but he's a huge red flag. OP, this is not a normal request at all. 5 months into a relationship, and he's already talking about being a breadwinner and trying to distribute household chores and rent when not even living together? That's batcrap insane. Block him. LOL, I was all ready to call her the idiot until she said that they don't live together. What? Who in their right mind thinks their SO should be cleaning their house because they happen to have more free time? The guy is incredibly entitled. He doesn't want a girlfriend. He wants a servant. When I was in college, I had a boyfriend who insisted that I do his laundry. We lived in separate dorms on separate parts of campus, and I studied 4 times harder than he did. He would keep asking, "When are you going to do my laundry?" He also had the sick belief that if we got married, I had to bear 7 children for him. After I dumped him, he called my parents to get my sister's phone number, then called my sister, telling her that something was mentally wrong with me because I broke up with him. She responded that everyone in the family thought something was mentally wrong with me because I was dating him. I love your sister's response. He wants an intimacy maid, a cook. Soon it'll be, you gotta pay part of my rent too, since you're here all the time, cleaning my crap up. OP, a 25-year-old wanting to date a literal teenager usually signals that the 25-year-old is both immature and controlling. Case in point, you're not his bang maid. Do you really want to waste your early 20s with this guy? 'Cause he sounds lame. Also, if you do make the mistake of moving in with this guy, mark my words, he'll become even more controlling. Good point. By 25, most women have been in enough relationships where they can't be tricked into keeping a guy's house that they don't even live with. He knows he has to go young to find someone who will tolerate this. Please dump this loser. Our late mom, 67, died in a car accident 2 years ago. My brother, 32, had been staying with her for nearly a year due to his inability to find a job. He's been in and out of her place for years. He would find a job, not keep it for more than a few months, and move back in. I suspect alcohol and other issues, but our mom is very overprotective of him, so I don't know the whole story. My sister, 42, and I, 36, both want to sell the house, since the market was good, and distribute the money equally between all of us. The three of us split 3 ways. Mom didn't leave a will. That means around $230K per person if it's sold at market price. But before that, we wanted to replace the flooring and repaint it. We both live hours away, so I would hire a guy. My brother refused to let him enter, and also refused to let us sell by essentially squatting there. We didn't know what to do because he refused to move out and wanted us to let him live there for free until he got a job. We agreed he could stay there for 3 months for free, but he never found a job. Or maybe he did and just didn't tell us. We waited another 3 months before deciding we had to kick him out somehow. We tried to visit once, and he barred us from entering, saying we didn't tell him early enough we were coming, even though we told him 2 days ago. We agreed to offer him 10% more of the inheritance than his share if he left. I was pretty sure he would take it since he was broke. Nope, he refused to move, saying he had nowhere to move to, and we should just let him stay, and he would take care of the place for us. Finally, we decided to talk to a lawyer, and he said we had to give formal eviction notice. So we went that route, and it took 8 months. He also painted the rooms black, and we paid a lot of money for painters to restore the original color. We got a pretty good sale for it and gave him his amount. I still get random calls of him yelling that we ruined his life. I'm done with him, and frankly disgusted he refused to leave on his own. But am I the idiot? Edit. He left a huge mess, trash everywhere, which a cleaner cleaned up, and we deducted from his payout. Also, lawyer and painter fees. He went to a hotel for the 2 months it took us to fix up the house and sell. He got the money after we removed the hotel costs from his portion. He demanded a nice hotel with a pool. The lawyer was the best route, block his calls and emails. Not the idiot. Unfortunately, there was no other action you could have taken that would have made him happy besides just giving him the house he didn't deserve. Your brother really needs help, and I hope he can get it. I hope he doesn't squander that inheritance on liquor and stuff. This is a great opportunity for him to get his life together, possibly. $230K can go a long way, depending on where you live, and hopefully give him a buffer to get his act together. Also sounds like he has no support system in his family. Yeah, well, he's a 32-year-old man. He had time to get his crap together, and was also given opportunities to do so. He got screwed by his mother's coddling and enabling, but he's an adult. Maybe being homeless and realizing he can't run to mommy will encourage him to stop being a bum. He's presumably getting a lot less than $230K since they took lawyer fees, hotel, and work that needed to be done to the house out of his share, and rightfully so. He's lucky OP didn't deduct 8 months' rent.